Hey everyone, today we are looking at Matthew chapter 5, verse 9, another one of the Beatitudes that Jesus gives on the Sermon on the Mount. And here's what it says: Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Now, big question is, what does it mean to be a peacemaker? What does it mean to be a peacemaker? Usually, in our sort of English context, when we think of that idea of peace, the definition that pops into most of our minds, I would assume, would be the absence of conflict. And so peace equals absence of conflict. And so we often will relate this idea of a peacemaker to be someone that helps people resolve their differences. Someone who can, stop wars from happening or people from arguing with one another. And that certainly is in the concept of a peacemaker and what this biblical word peace means. However, the biblical concept is actually much bigger and wider than simply the absence of conflict. If you go back all the way to the Old Testament uses this Hebrew word for peace, and that is the word shalom. Shalom. And in the Old Testament, shalom means complete wholeness. Everything in its right place. And so when we see that God is a God who brings peace to us, that God wants to make peace with us, that's what is being talked about. Not simply that God wants to remove the conflict that's happening between us and God, that's certainly part of it, but that God seeks to make us completely whole, putting everything in our lives in its right place, just as it was designed to be by Him. And so, when Jesus says, "Blessed are the peacemakers," this is the idea that Jesus is talking about. Not simply just being people that are really good at breaking up arguments between friends or family or something like that, but people who can embody and proclaim the idea that God wants to make us whole. This word, actually, it's a morphed word. It's made up of two different Greek words here, and it's only used one other time in the whole Bible, and that is in Colossians chapter 1, verse 20, where it says that God, through the sacrifice of Jesus, through His blood spilled for us, He has made peace with us. That God, because of this cost that was associated through Jesus' death, we are able to be made completely whole and right in front of God. And the same is true here. When Jesus says, "Blessed are the peacemakers," He's saying, blessed are those people who bring wholeness and healing to any situation. So, not just simply that we're good at breaking up fights, but that we want to see order restored. And there's sort of three main components of what that looks like. To be made whole, the first part, to experience peace, is this wholeness, this peace between us and God, this vertical wholeness. That there's something about that, about introducing people to the God who can set them right again. Similarly, there's this vertical peace as well, that bridging the differences that we have between one another. In other words, the word of reconciliation is the theme here, that those boundaries that separate us and divide us and make us fight and argue, that we can be people that bridge those divides and bring others together, that we can make relationships with one another whole. But then there's also one more sort of component, and that is the relationship with us in the entire world around us. And so not just our relationship with God and our relationship with others, but actually the relationship that we have with the whole world. Paul talks about this in Romans chapter 8 when he says that the whole of creation is groaning, as in the pains of childbirth, waiting to be made whole again. And that same idea is what we are called to do, to be people that care about this earth, about everything that happens in this earth, and being people that bring peace, not just to one another or in our relationship with God, but the entire earth. And so, Jesus says we are those people who bring this peace and wholeness, who can introduce people to the God who creates peace and makes people whole, who can bridge the divide that divides us and makes us get in conflict with one another, and those people that can restore order and beauty to the world around us. They are blessed. Congratulations to those of you who are doing those things now, for you will be called the children of God. The reward of doing that is you are invited into God's family, his special sons and daughters. That is the best thing that we could ever hope for. So the challenge for you and me is to be people who, in every situation, we are looking to bring people to this idea of peace by introducing them to the God who makes everyone whole, to bridge the things that divide us and bring people together and be people that proclaim good news in the world around us. So may you be a peacemaker this week. See you later.